The following is a presentation of the BP8 Podcast Network.
What's up, Wake Forest? Welcome to our first ever podcast. This podcast is obviously about Wake Forest, the town of Wake Forest. I'm here with Brian Pate, Realtor extraordinaire, town commissioner.
The town of Wake Forest, not Wake Forest University, just so folks are clear.
Yeah, the town of Wake Forest, yeah.
That's one of my favorite stories when we were opening our new office in downtown Wake Forest. We opened it in May of 2017.
I remember this, yeah.
And in August of 2017, this couple came in with their son, and they said, we're trying to figure out where the college is so we can get moved in. And I said, it's only about a block away. She says, well, the only thing we saw was the Baptist Seminary. I said, are you looking for Wake Forest University? She says, yeah. I said, oh, I hate to tell you, but you're about 2 hours east on I-40 of where you should be. So felt sorry for those folks. So we want to be clear. The town of Wake Forest is where the university used to be,
yes,
before it was moved in 1957. So always have to give a little history of where we're coming from, I guess, as we start this new podcast.
I have a similar story. My grandmother moved down here to live around us, and she came from Virginia Beach, and the moving company took all of her stuff to Winston-Salem, Wake Forest University, because
people get confused. They don't realize it.
She'd get her stuff a day late.
I can't tell you how many times I've gotten to the point when I travel nationally, I just tell people I'm from the Raleigh area. Yeah. So if I tell them I'm from Raleigh-Durham, all of a sudden they want to talk about real estate, it seems like. So it's crazy.
Yeah. So this podcast we thought would be a fun way to just talk about what's going on in the town. This is part of our new podcast network, the BP8 Podcast Network, where we're going to have other stuff like sports and real estate.
Right.
We're still playing it all out, honestly.
You should probably introduce yourself so everybody knows who you are.
My name is Joel Bryant. I moved here in 2010. I used to live in Connecticut, and then I moved down here when I was going into 7th or 8th grade. I can't remember.
And for the record, right now he's wearing a Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl champion shirt. He's a huge Philadelphia. We're both sports fans.
Oh yeah.
He has the problem that he's a professional sports fan, and I cheer for colleges more than anything else. But that's okay. We can still get along.
See, I like college sports. I just don't have I don't really have much rooting interest in college. That's why I tend to enjoy it more than professional because.
There you go.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So basically, this podcast we're just going to talk about things going on locally, some local news and construction, and then we're also going to get into some local school news, high school sports, that kind of thing. So for this first episode, we're just going to talk about some construction projects going on right now. So the first one that I have here is the current building going up in Gateway Commons. Can you talk about what that is?
Yeah, a lot of folks have asked us. This is on the corner of Friendship Chapel Road and Heritage Lake Road, and it's right there behind the new daycare that just opened a couple of months ago. And what it is, it's an office building. It's a professional office building that's going to be, I believe it's going to be 2 stories, if not 3 stories. And it's going to be hosting the company that owns it, and I'm not at liberty to say who the company is yet, but they're building it, and they're going to occupy a part of it, and they're going to rent out some other areas of it in order for smaller businesses to be able to locate themselves. It'll be a great opportunity to get a new construction Class A office space in the town of Wake Forest, actually in Heritage, because a lot of the Heritage businesses that you see are up there on Rogers Road as you go up towards US 1A that we also call South Main Street. So I think that's a good opportunity for some of these mom and pop companies. You see, one of the great things about Wake Forest is that we have a lot of what I call bonus room businesses or garage businesses. It's very entrepreneurial area. The average list price of a home in Wake Forest is about $480,000. So you've got people that are really creative, really tech savvy that are living here and doing these kinds of things. And they can open their business in their bonus room, or they can come out and get a small space in an incubation type area. We've got some of those in the area with the Wireless Research Center of North Carolina, as well as Hatch Co-working in downtown Wake Forest on the corner of Waite Avenue and South White Street. And we think that this is going to be very similar to it. I don't think it's going to be like a Regis office type setup, but it'll be a place where you can get a smaller 1,000 square foot suite, for example, that shares common space like bathrooms and elevators and stairwells and things like that. So I think it should be a good project. Yeah. It'll definitely create some traffic there for that shopping center where the Gatehouse Tavern is, and the Lowe's Foods, and the Ace Hardware,
Town and Country Hardware.
Town and Country Hardware, and the there's a pizza place up there that's got great New York style pizza. Shiano's Pizza, and that's very good. So I think there's a lot of things, and then of course you got Pet Mania up there. So it caters to what's here in Heritage. My guess is we'll probably see a couple of small companies gleaming themselves out of there.
Yeah, it just presents more opportunities for the small businesses. And
absolutely.
That shopping center even has more space to grow in, so
it does.
Interesting to see how that goes.
There are actually a couple of more out parcels. You've got the Dollar General there, and then on the backside you have the Wake Forest Charter Academy, and then on the backside of Wake Forest Charter Academy there's a townhome project that's going to go up eventually. They're working on acquiring some a little bit more land from the Charter Academy. Matter of fact, I'm going to have a meeting about that here in the next week or so with the folks that are developing that. So we'll be able to give you more details on that. But I think they're going to add 6 townhomes to the little strip of land that they're going to go ahead and purchase from Wake Forest Charter.
Yep, and they also have all the out parcels over there by Publix too.
Correct.
Those haven't been even tapped yet.
The Publix out parcels haven't even been tapped, and then when they build the road through from Publix to Foundation Drive,
yes,
that'll be nice because kids won't have to actually get out on Forestville Road in order to go get a pub sub or go to Rodino's or Chronic Tacos or something like that. So that's always a good thing when we can keep the kids from having to get off the road, when they can actually walk to Publix to get their food. That's actually kind of nice. Then, of course, on hot days, you can go over to Cold Stone Creamery and get yourself a bite to eat. So lots of opportunities there.
And we have a couple new shopping centers popping up. So we have the new shopping center on Retail Drive. That's the new Freddy's and the Chipotle.
Yeah,
and the
Freddy's and Chipotle and the Starbucks, lots of other stuff. And, that was one of those that when that one came in front of us at the Board of Commissioners. Of course, I've served on the Board of Commissioners now for 2.5 years, and when that property came up, there was a part of me that was really bothered that we were going to slam something else into that small little space. But it's actually developed really nicely. They've got a large parking lot, and the traffic flow in and out of there is not too bad.
It's really aesthetically pleasing as well. It
is, and it's good. It's good view for the owners of the businesses. It's a great view from both 98 bypass, the Calvin Jones Highway, as well as the US 1 corridor. And so that's nice. The biggest challenge is, of course, the Chick-fil-A over there is such a booming business.
Yeah.
Rob Reasoner that owns that place is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And
definitely.
He does a great job with taking care of the kids. They do a ton of scholarship money to people that have worked for Chick-fil-A. And Rob lives, breathes, and eats Wake Forest. He loves this town, and I'd love to see him actually open another Chick-fil-A to lighten up the traffic at that one a little bit. So it'd be nice if it opened at Heritage.
Yes.
We could walk
in front of Publix.
We could if they bought one of those parcels out in front of Publix and built a Chick-fil-A, that'd be really nice because then the kids could walk to it at lunchtime. And I think it'd be a gold mine. Whoever develops that a restaurant out in that area that offers, I don't want to call it fast food because I don't think that a McDonald's or a Hardee's or something like that would be the best thing. But if you had something like a Chick-fil-A or a Char Grill or something like that could open there and be a little bit more unique rather than just stop and grab and a grab and go and choke and puke, as we used to call it back in the 80s when I was in high school. We had a little hole in the wall burger place that it was called the Chat and Chew, and we called it the Choke and Puke. So it's got to be careful with those. But and then, of course, if somebody wants to go downtown, you can always grab a burger or hot dog at Shorty's, where Arnold Palmer used to eat. They've been around for over 100 years at this point, so it's still a great place.
So we have that shopping center, which is on Retail Drive. Then we have another one that's just popping up now. It's at the corner of Rogers Road and Main Street.
Yeah, that one, I'm a little bit in the dark on that one.
Yeah.
Dr. Gladwell that owns Gladwell Orthodontics, it's my understanding that that's him building that. It's obviously commercial property.
Yeah.
It has a corner entrance that looks like some of the drugstores that we see today, the CVS's, the Rite Aids, the Walgreens. They all have that entrance on a front corner that faces the major intersection, but I'm not positive that that's what it's going to be. I've seen no indication on the site, and I haven't seen anything specific onto exactly what's being developed there. And, of course, You guys can keep up with it as well as I do by just going to the town's website at wakeforestnc.gov and just search permits, and you can see who's been issued permits and keep up with both commercial and housing and see where all the builds are going on.
Yeah, and in case you don't know, this is at the corner where there's a little space there where the factory is, and then
between the factory and BB&T.
Yeah,
the bank there, and then Dr. Gladwell's office building is behind this. So it's basically, if you're looking across Rogers Road, you'd be looking right into Rite Aid.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at South Main Street or US 1A, you're looking at the entrance to Wake Forest Middle School.
Right. Yeah. Rogers Road is just really 2 years ago looks nothing like what it does now.
Well, and it's going to change again beginning in 2019 because the section from the South Main Street where the entrance there is to Wake Forest Middle School is that all that's going to be actually widened to 4 lanes. So Rogers will be 4 lanes that entire way. Now, don't panic, folks, because the good news is the bridge is not going to be closed down. So we won't have to worry about anything like that. We're going to reroute the traffic around the construction this time so that we don't have the challenges that we had, especially for those small businesses that are there on Rogers Road.
Even the sheets.
The sheets and the shuckers and the Dairy Depot and folks like that. So it won't affect them as much as it did when we did the bridge. But what we are going to do is Rogers Road will actually have a bridge on it. You'll go over a bridge to get over those railroad tracks. And it's going to be 4 lanes wide, and my understanding it's going to have sidewalks so people can walk it too if they need to. We'll continue those sidewalks. And I personally love the connectivity of the sidewalks because, I think it'd be awesome if kids were able to walk from Heritage or ride their bike on the sidewalk and be able to ride all the way up to the factory or to the middle school if they wanted to.
The other thing is those sidewalks are connected to the Greenway System now.
Correct.
And that Greenway System is outstanding.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And the completion of the Smith Creek Greenway and the Dunn Creek Greenways are going to be major factors in the amount of traffic that we see on those. So Rogers Road's got a lot of building coming on it from that point. And then for those of you that are familiar with Wake Forest right now, where the temporary traffic light is going back into the Cal Atlantic subdivision, and I cannot remember the name of that subdivision off the top of my head.
It's Homestead at Heritage.
Homestead at Heritage.
That's the other side is that medical park with the Heritage Eye Care.
That's correct. But there's right at that entrance right there is Dr. Andreas Quintana's building, and he's of course in eye care, and he's going to be putting his location right there, and he's got a great podcast. He's one of the people that turned me on to podcasting. So thanks, Andreas. We're making our progress, I guess.
It's his fault you have to listen to us now.
That's right. It's all Andreas's fault if you don't like the podcast. So send your emails and your complaints to him.
About the greenways, in fact. So you said there's 2 more phases to be completed.
Yeah, the Kitchen Farms subdivision that's being developed near the intersection of Burlington Mill and Ligon Mill Road, which is located across from the current entrance of Cadell Woods. Nice houses, $400,000 and up, connected. They've taken a beautiful piece of land, and they've actually let the town of Wake Forest have a significant portion of the land. I think it was about 25 or 26 acres all totaled. Mm-hmm. And they gave us that in order for us to use it for greenway space. So it'll connect with those greenways that are right behind Cadell Woods, and that will eventually take you all the way down to the Raleigh Greenway. So you cross the Neuse River at that bridge. If you drive south on Highway 401 from Forestville or Ligon Mill or Mitchell Mill, you'll see that pedestrian bridge on the right-hand side going over the bridge as you're going to Raleigh. It'll eventually connect with there. And then the area behind Kitchen Farms, the greenway behind there, will eventually connect with the Smith Creek Greenway that goes over here by Soccer Center through Heritage. And you'll actually be able to get all the way through Wake Forest eventually when we finish with the Greenway system. The Wake Forest Parks and Greenway system is just outstanding. We've got over 25 miles of greenway, and they're heavily used. A lot of it has been the way that we've paid for it over the years is it's really costing us less than 50 cents on the dollar because the towns receive so many grants in order to do sections like that. And there's some great grant writers that have been helping us out and getting some of that money. So the Greenway system is, I won't call it a priority, but it's definitely something that we want to maintain and continue to grow because it is part of what makes Wake Forest what we are.
Yeah, if you haven't checked out the new Greenway system behind it now wraps around Heritage High School, wraps around the stadium, and then it goes all the way past Heritage Phase 2.
Well, and one of the coolest things that we're getting ready to do with that Greenway, we just voted on it last Tuesday, as a matter of fact. Or actually, it comes back to, we looked at it initially this past Tuesday. It'll come back to us in our August 21st meeting of 2018. And that will be we're going to do an art project that's in conjunction with the Public Art Commission here in town. And all of those raised sewer pipes that you see, we're going to be painting them and making artwork out of them. So we've taken some samples from other parts of the state and the country. For example, they've put, with those really tall pipes that you see that are actually drainage pipes that allow air to flow, they've turned those into the heads of giraffes and then painted the drain pipes to look like the bodies of giraffes. So we'll be doing some things like that. There's been discussion of letting children from local art groups paint some of those, and of course also having artists that have just taken on the challenge of taking care of one of those and keeping them up. So we're gonna as you're walking along with your kids, you're gonna have things to look at other than just the nature. You'll get to see some artwork along with it, and we've got some really creative folks around here in Wake Forest that I'm looking forward to see what kind of cool stuff they come up with doing.
Okay, and then let's go to the other part of the town, the downtown area, the Renaissance area. The first thing I have is the senior center.
Yeah, the senior center is expanding significantly, and if you haven't been down there recently, there's a lot going on in the Renaissance area. So I may talk ahead of you here a little bit as we're talking about this. You've got the Stanley Martin Townhome Community that's got their first 3 under contract. That's in the first phase that's been completed. They're breaking ground this week on, I believe it is 4. It's either 3 or 4 other buildings, and their buildings are either 3 or 4 units apiece.
Yeah.
And these are some awesome townhouses because
they're great.
Yeah, they've got
Really
3
unique.
bedrooms, 2 baths. They are multi-level living. They do not have anything with master bedrooms on the ground floor.
No,
so
each of these are like 3 floors each.
yeah, they're 3 floors, and then many of them have terraces on the rooftop. The bonus room is basically on the 3rd floor, and off of the bonus room is a terrace. And really cool. The ones that are along Brook Street, they're in the process of completing Brook Street from right next to the right in front of the Over the Falls Deli Shopping Center, where the bowling alley and Brook Street Bowl and all of that is. They're going to complete that paving all the way to Holding Avenue, to East Holding. So hopefully the Christmas parade will actually eventually go by the townhouses that are on that back side, so people will be able to watch the Christmas parade from their front porches there.
That'd be neat.
And that's kind of cool as you think about it. So that's one project, and right across the street from that on Brook Street is the Senior Center expansion.
Yes.
And although it's a little behind schedule because it took us a little bit longer to finish the design and everything, Matt Hale's done an outstanding job of creating the design. For those of you that don't know, we have a very rapidly growing elderly population here in Wake Forest, and this is trending nationally also. More than 50% of people that live in the United States in the next 5 years are going to be over the age of 50. So a lot of us getting older.
Well, a lot of it is just older members of the family following down people who transplant down.
Well,
here.
that's what's been a significant increase in North Carolina. But if you look at it nationally, the life expectancy 25 years ago for a male or female was in the 70 to 75 range, and today it's in the 90s. Yeah. And you will probably live to be 110 or so.
Probably, I hope so.
And who knows?
I'm going for 120.
Going
actually.
for 120.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll play it like an auction, and you can bid.
I got 100 years to go.
There you go. So and that's where you have some of your challenges also, because that's what's causing your growth in population. You've got the Del Webb community up in the north side of Traditions,
nice little homes,
that has a ton of homes going up. They're about to finish up with their swimming pool and their recreation center, and it's just gorgeous. John Myers is the visionary on that one that's developed that land and then sold it to the Del Webb folks. So the Senior Center is going to be a very important for us going forward. So you've got that. Then you get up to South White Street,
yes,
between Holding Avenue and Elm Street. And that's
where our office is.
That's basically, well, no, our office is a little bit north of that. Elm Street is the one that goes beside Bright Funeral Home.
Well, it's all the same road.
And South White Street connects through Elm. And on the corner there of Elm and South White, diagonal from what used to be SunTrust, is a new development called Powerhouse Row.
Yes.
And they just broke ground on that about a week and a half ago. Unfortunately, I was out of town and didn't get to go to that one, but they've broken ground there. That's being directed by Russell Allen, that used to be the city manager in Raleigh. And Russell's got about an $8 million development that he's doing right there. It's going to have businesses and a restaurant. I think they said they're setting aside between 8,500 and 9,000 square feet for the restaurant. Mm-hmm. And then the others will be 1,500 to 2,000 square foot cold dark shell bays that can be upfitted to do whatever's needed. And then they'll have 2 floors of apartments for people to rent down there.
It looks really cool.
It's going to look, the design is outstanding.
They'll fit in perfectly, I think.
It fits in well as we develop. You know, we've got the White Street Brewing that Dino and Tina Radasta opened up a few years ago, and it's done wonders for downtown. We now have great restaurants. You've got Over the Falls that's over near the bowling alley and the Renaissance Center. You've got La Foresta that's family owned. Pam Tarangelo still owns that. You've got Las Margaritas if you want some Mexican food.
Always have shorties.
You've always got shorties in there. You can't miss them.
The burger shop.
And then the burger shop's there, and the Lemon Tree, which is Stacy's got an absolutely awesome little place with the Lemon Tree, and does a lot of catering for us. So they're good folks too. But in addition to that, you've now, and of course, you've always had Wake Forest Coffee Company. Albert's been there for years now, and it's kind of a staple of the downtown area, and it's probably, of all of the coffee shops that have opened and closed, it's probably the one constant with the coffee, because it's so well established and in such a fantastic location right there in the break. But right next to it is a place called Tonic. Tonic is a private club. I have not been there yet, but my goal is to try that out this weekend and check it out on Friday night on White. So we'll see what happens with that. And then you've got the new Unwind, which is the wine and yoga place that has the rooftop there. So you can sit on the rooftop and actually watch parades and all of the festivals that are going on. So downtown is beginning to become a very thriving area. And the goal with the development is to make downtown as walkable as it can be. And with the completion of the streetscape on South White Street, which is the town's invested a couple $1 million into, and of course, as we do this, we're going to be putting down fiber lines, putting electrical lines underground. We're going to be upgrading the water, sewer, et cetera. So all of that stuff's going to be a part of that growth as we extend down to Holding Avenue.
So basically, where you see all the buildings in the main part of White Street, where our offices and B&W Hardwares, all those buildings, that's just going to basically be extended all the way down.
Yeah, that is what we refer to as the core of downtown. It's the historic core. And, you know, when you look at an area like this, you know, when you look at downtown development, if you look at places like Asheville and what they've done to develop it, a lot of it has to be done with restaurants. You have to have business owners that are willing to stay open past 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday through Friday. You've got to have owners that are willing to be open on Saturdays and Sundays to really drive the retail business there. And that's great to have something going on from 10 in the morning until 6 in the evening. But what do you do in the evening time? You know, a lot of stores will actually close down, and having the restaurants there creates an opportunity for those stores to be open later till 8 or 9 o'clock and potentially make more income. And of course, that also creates jobs, because it gives people part-time jobs that they can make a little extra money, because the owner certainly doesn't want to be there from 9 in the morning until 9 at night every day of the week. So it's a win-win-win from every aspect.
It's gonna look really great. If you go online, you can see some of the concept art for.
The whole Renaissance plan is available online at the town's website at wakeforestnc.gov. You can see that plan. You can see the Powerhouse Row plans. You can see, you can see what the schedule of events is and how things are going with that. So there's all kinds of information on the town's website. Of course, you can sign up for e-alerts, or you can do what I do. I'm on the app for the town, and the app actually notifies me of what's going on in the area in Wake Forest. So Bill Crabtree, who's our public information officer, does a great job of keeping folks up to date when a road closure takes place in the middle of the day on an emergency or something like that. He gives you a heads up so that you can avoid any problems like that. So I highly recommend the Town of Wake Forest app.
Okay. And that's all I had for the construction. You have anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so. There's a lot going on in Wake Forest. I'm looking forward. This is the third year of Friday Night on White, and lots of good stuff going on with that. That'll go through September, I believe it is. And then, of course, high school football season kicks off in a couple of weeks.
Can't wait.
Both Wake Forest and Heritage are going to have good teams, and we've got soccer starting, and Heritage has a young man on their team that is one of the top players in the state, getting a lot of folks looking at him and talking about him. And the NAC 6 conference up here in the northeastern region, and of course the Cap 7 down there in Raleigh, always competing against each other. So I think the school year is going to be awesome. We're looking forward to honoring all of the conference champs and the state champs next year. The town's trying to put together an ESPY award type setup that we can honor all of our athletes from the different sports. So hopefully we can get that put together and host that at the Renaissance Center and be able to turn that into a fundraiser so we can maybe give some money back to the community.
I had one more thing, actually.
Okay.
What are your 3 favorite places to get hamburgers?
My 3 favorite places to get a hamburger.
Yes.
Wow. Number 1, I would tell you, I love going across the street to Shorty's. I get the double cheeseburger with mayonnaise. I'm a meat bread. I'm a meat bread and French fries type of guy, and so I get a cheeseburger with mayonnaise and cheese, and then I'll choose different types of cheeses. But for the money, the Shorty's cheeseburger, their double cheeseburger, is my favorite because it's fast and it's good. And then I love the Gatehouse burgers. They've got a bacon cheeseburger that's really good. And then, of course, my favorite restaurant in Wake Forest is Over the Falls. And they make a great burger over there, too. So those are I guess if I had to pick 3, those would be my 3 favorite burgers. How's that?
That works.
Hope I don't make anybody mad. If I didn't mention your business, it's just because I didn't think of these.
There's so many great places.
Yeah, because you got the Burger Shop. You've got... you got some places out there, Buffalo Brothers has a great burger, and so you can't go wrong with a cheeseburger or a hamburger around here anywhere. That's for sure.
Yep, I agree completely.
Cool deal. So is that the end of our first podcast?
I think so.
I think it is.
By the time this is up, you'll be able to subscribe.
Okay.
Somewhere. Probably an Apple.
Okay.
Hopefully. And if you liked what you heard, I guess let us know. And if you didn't like anything, also let us know.
Right.
And if you have any ideas of things we can talk about.
Well, we're always taking ideas, of course. And then, of course, while we're talking about subscribing, don't forget to go to our YouTube channel.
Yes. For
your real estate updates and information like that. Just go to youtube.com/Brian Pate Realtor, REALTOR, and you can find that. And, of course, you can always find the real estate team on the website, www.paterealty.com, and you can search every home for sale in the Triangle Market. Our website ties directly into MLS, so you can see every home that's for sale. And so we invite you to visit that. And if you see one that you like, click on Contact Us, and let's get you together with one of our fantastic buyer's agents.
It's a brand new website. It's really cool.
Yep, we've been working on that website for about 3 months. It's been released. It's still getting some of the kinks worked out, but the best part about it is that search, because you can find every house, you can find a piece of land, you can find rental properties and everything. So, and if you'd like, you can also get a copy of our app, where if you're traveling around, you're mobile, you want to check it out, you can use this app to find houses that are nearby you, both for sale and for rent. So if you'd like to get a copy of the app, text me at 919-669-4575 and just type, "Give me your app," and we'll take care of it.
Yep. And any questions you have pertaining to real estate, whether you're interested in buying, selling, or investing, please contact Brian at that same number.
Yep.
And besides that, I think that's it.
Or you can bounce me an email at brian@paterealty.com, and we'll be happy to hook you up.
Yep.
Very cool.
So no excuses. You have many ways to contact
That's
us.
right. It's not like I cannot be found. It's not like I can't be found.
Yeah, you're kind of everywhere in Wake Forest.
I love being part of the town. I love my community.
Yeah, everyone knows who Brian Pate is. I think.
Some for good reasons, some for bad, maybe. We'll see. Well, thanks for joining us on the first podcast. Joel, great job. Thanks for hosting it.
Yes, thank you.
Had a good time hanging out with you, and we'll look forward to seeing you the next time that we meet about the podcast here at what we decide the name of the company is? BP8 Media?
BP8 Media. This is the BP8 Podcast Network.
The BP8 Podcast Network.
Yes.
Wow, makes us sound like a conglomerate.
Yes.
And it's just the two of us.
Yep.
All right, folks, have a great day.
All right, bye.